Three stories are shaping the AI conversation on X right now, and taken together, they point to the same underlying question: who actually controls the infrastructure your business depends on? Let's get into it. First, Anthropic. According to a Watcher Guru, an IPO filing from Anthropic is being discussed as imminent, with the valuation reportedly positioned to rival or even beat SpaceX's record. Yeah, this is not a confirmed filing, it's what's circulating on X right now, but the scale being reported is worth pausing on regardless of the exact number. An IPO changes a company's obligations. Once a lab has public shareholders, disclosure requirements, quarterly earnings pressure, and investor-driven priorities start shaping product roadmaps in ways that private funding rounds simply don't. For European builders who have architected products around Anthropic's models, that's a governance shift worth watching closely, not because Anthropic is doing anything wrong, but because dependency on any single foreign company's cap table introduces a variable that EU enterprises don't control and can't fully model. This is exactly the argument for sovereign AI infrastructure. It isn't about distrust of any one lab, it's about insulation from decisions made in boardrooms an ocean away, under pressure from shareholders whose priorities may never align with the European enterprise's compliance needs. If public markets start pulling Anthropic's incentives toward growth metrics that don't match what your business requires, you want an alternative that isn't contingent on Wall Street's read on the quarter. Second, agents that never sleep. Naval is drawing attention to Grok Bot agents on X, describing them as persistent, always-on systems that run their own compute rather than waiting for a user prompt to arrive. That distinction matters more than it sounds. Most AI products today are session-based. You send a request, you get a response, and the process ends there. A persistent agent keeps running, keeps state, and keeps acting in between your interactions with it. That's a meaningfully different architecture, and it changes the compliance conversation entirely. A session-based API call is a discrete, auditable event with a clear start and end. A persistent agent with continuous access to your data and its own dedicated compute is closer to an employee than a tool. And under GDPR, continuous processing on infrastructure you don't control sits in a very different risk category than a one-off inference call you can log and forget. For EU builders experimenting with agentic systems, the real question isn't whether persistent agents are useful. Clearly they are. It's where that persistence physically lives, who can inspect its running state, and whether it can be paused, audited, or migrated the moment the underlying provider changes its terms. Always-on capability is only an advantage if you retain always-on control over it. Third, and arguably the most consequential story for anyone running AI in production, enterprises are moving toward open models, and they're doing it for cost, not ideology. Hestimation is highlighting reporting that AT&T is now routing more than 40% of its AI usage through open models, with meaningful savings attached to that shift. That's a large regulated enterprise deciding at scale that a substantial chunk of its production traffic doesn't need a closed frontier model to get the job done. This is the detail worth sitting with. If you're an EU enterprise still assuming you need the most expensive, most capable closed model for every single workload. AT&T's routing decision functions as a live experiment showing that most production traffic can run on open weights without paying the frontier premium. And open weights are exactly the foundation that sovereign EU-hosted infrastructure is built on. Put the three stories together, and a pattern emerges. Capital markets are pulling on Anthropic's incentives. Persistent agents are raising the stakes on who controls data and state, and enterprises, independently and for purely financial reasons, are discovering that open models handle most of the actual load anyway. None of this is an argument against using strong closed models, where they genuinely earn their cost. It's an argument against making closed, foreign, single-vendor infrastructure your default setting, for treating sovereignty and cost efficiency as the same decision, rather than as competing priorities. So where does that leave builders here in the EU? Watch the Anthropic IPO story for what it signals about foreign lab governance, not for the headline valuation number. Treat persistent agent architectures as a data residency and audit question before you treat them as a productivity feature. And take AT&T's routing numbers as permission to actually test open models on real production traffic, instead of assuming you need the flagship API for everything you build. That's today's briefing. If this was useful, subscribe for tomorrow's version. We track what's genuinely being discussed on X, cite the source every time, and skip the hype entirely. See you then.